Have you ever seen someone do something so unexpected that it completely changed how you see them? Like, what if one of the most famous people on the planet, someone known for designer heels, paparazzi, and billion-dollar brands, suddenly stopped on a rainy street corner and just stared at you? Would you stop and stare back? Would you think it's a joke? Or would you ask yourself, why me? Well, that's exactly what happened to a 17-year-old girl named Riley, sitting alone on 7th Avenue in New York City. And yes, the woman who stopped and looked directly at her was Kim Kardashian. But let's rewind a second. Why would Kim even be walking the streets of Manhattan at night without security? Why was she dressed in a black hoodie, barely recognizable, almost like she didn't want to be seen? And more importantly, what did she see in Riley that made her stop? Let's talk about Riley for a second. No phone, no jacket, just a backpack with one broken strap and a sweater 2 sizes too small. She wasn't begging. She wasn't even making eye contact with people. She just sat there, silent, looking down, waiting for nothing. So, why would a celebrity who's surrounded by luxury and power care about a girl everyone else walked past? That's the part no one can explain. Because Kim didn't say a word. She just stood there, staring. And then, out of nowhere, she walked away. No hi, no, are you okay? Nothing. And Riley? She just whispered under her breath. Another one. Another person pretending to care. For a second, and then disappearing into the night. But oh, this wasn't over. Not even close. The next night, around the same time, Kim came back. Same hoodie, same street corner. Only this time, she didn't just stop and stare. She sat down, right next to Riley. Like, what? Kim freaking Kardashian just sat down on a freezing New York sidewalk on the dirty curb next to a girl no one else even looked at. Why? What was she doing? Was this a publicity stunt? Hidden cameras? A weird social experiment? Riley looked over and said, "You lost or something?" Kim chuckled. "No, I found something." What did that even mean? And before Riley could ask, Kim pulled out something from her coat pocket. A bag. Inside, clean socks, granola bars, hand warmers, and a note. A handwritten note. Not printed, not typed, not even signed. Just 4 words, written in black pen. "You are not invisible." Riley froze. No one had ever said that to her. Not teachers, not social workers, not even her mom. And she wanted to cry, but didn't. She just nodded and said, "Cool socks." Kim smiled and stood up. Again, no questions, no speeches, just a moment, and then silence. But what came next? That's when things got really strange. Because this little moment, it wasn't random, it wasn't luck. It was the beginning of something that would change both of their lives forever. And the world still doesn't know the real reason why Kim did it. But Riley does. And if you keep watching, so will you. Okay, so let's just pause and ask the obvious. Why would one of the most photographed women in the world sneak around New York City like a ghost? Just to help one random girl? Was it guilt? Some secret charity mission? Or maybe it was personal? The next night, Kim came back again. But this time, she brought more than socks. A coat, a pair of brand new sneakers, and something Riley hadn't seen in months. A hot meal. She didn't ask Riley if she wanted it. She just placed the food beside her and said, "I thought you might be tired of vending machine dinners." Wait, how did she know Riley had been living off vending machines? That stopped Riley cold. She looked up. "Are you stalking me or something?" Kim just shrugged, but she wasn't laughing. There was something in her eyes. Not pity, not judgment. Something else. Recognition. As if she knew what it felt like to be forgotten. To be ignored. To feel like nothing more than a headline or a photo or a mistake. "Why are you doing this?" Riley finally asked. Kim stared at her for a long second and replied, "Because I used to be you." Wait, what? The internet knows Kim Kardashian's life down to the hour. Childhood in Beverly Hills. Famous dad. Reality TV. Private jets. But what if there was more? What if there was a version of Kim's past that no one knew about? A moment. A choice. A secret that never made the tabloids? That's what Riley was about to find out. But before she could ask anything else, Kim stood up again. "You'll understand soon." And just like that, gone. No security, no cameras, no explanation. For the next few days, Riley waited. Same spot. Same. But Kim didn't come. Was it over? Was this some weird celebrity charity thing that ended as fast as it started? Or was something else happening behind the scenes? Because 5 days later, something totally unexpected happened. A black SUV pulled up next to the sidewalk. The window rolled down, and it wasn't Kim inside. It was a woman in a gray suit holding a file. Are you Riley? Riley hesitated. Yeah? The woman handed her a card. SK Compassion Initiative. What even was that? The woman smiled and said,
Kim asked me to find you. She thinks you deserve a second shot. A second shot at what? A place to live? A job? A life? Riley's heart was pounding. She looked inside the SUV. Warm lights, clean seats, a bottle of water, and safety. But why her? Why not the dozens of others living on those streets? What did Kim see in her? Was it really about helping? Or was this something deeper? Something buried in Kim's past that she was trying to fix through Riley. Riley climbed into the car. She didn't know it yet, but the moment that door shut, her old life ended. And the truth about Kim's secret past, it was finally about to come out.
What would you do if someone pulled you out of a nightmare and placed you straight into a dream you didn't believe you deserved? That's exactly what happened to Riley. 1 hour after stepping into that black SUV, she was standing in a marble-floored hallway, staring up at a chandelier the size of her old bedroom. A mansion. Silent. Private. Hidden behind tall gates in Calabasas. And yeah, you guessed it. Kim Kardashian's house. But here's the twist. Kim wasn't there. Just a note on the counter. Make yourself at home. This is your space now. We'll talk soon. Who does that? Who gives a literal stranger, someone off the street, their guest wing, a wardrobe, a stocked fridge, and absolute silence? Riley walked around like she was floating. New clothes, new shoes, a warm bed, but also a strange feeling in her gut. Something wasn't right. Because rich people don't do this. They donate to charities, they post sad quotes, they don't personally take someone in, unless there's something they're not telling you. The next morning, Riley found a room she hadn't noticed before. The door was cracked open. Inside, books, photos, newspaper clippings. It was a study. But it didn't look like a celebrity's office. It looked like a museum of someone else's life. She scanned the shelves. Runaway teens, abandonment, foster care, street outreach. There were sticky notes, marked articles, personal stories. And then, she saw it. A faded Polaroid, taped to the corner of a newspaper. 2 girls, sitting on a curb. One looked exactly like Kim, but younger, maybe 14. The other? She had the same eyes as Riley. Wait, what? She picked it up, flipping it over. Written in smudged ink. Me and Kay, last night on the run, 1994. On the run? What was this? Riley's hands started shaking. Was that her mom? She never really knew her mom's past. Only stories, rumors, that she'd been in trouble as a teen, disappeared, showed up years later with a baby, and even more secrets. And now this photo? Riley looked closer at the girl beside young Kim. The nose, the smile, the hair. She looked like an older version of Riley. Was her mother and Kim childhood friends? What happened back then? Why was this photo hidden? And why hadn't Kim mentioned it? Just then, a soft voice behind her said, "You weren't supposed to find that yet." Riley spun around. Kim stood in the doorway, holding a cup of tea. No makeup, just a robe and a tired expression. "I have questions," Riley said. "I know," Kim replied. "I have answers." Kim walked in and sat down on the edge of a leather chair. "You're not just some girl I found," she said. "You're part of a story I never told anyone." Riley sat across from her, gripping the photo. "Is that my mom?" Kim nodded. "Her name was Maya. She was my best friend when I had no one. When I wasn't famous. When I was just a scared kid." Riley blinked. "What happened?" Kim took a deep breath. "She saved my life. And then she disappeared. For years I didn't know what happened to her. Then I heard she had a daughter." Riley's voice was barely a whisper. "Me." Kim nodded again. "I recognized you the moment I saw you on that street. Same look Maya had. That same fire. I knew I couldn't walk away." Riley couldn't speak. So that night on the sidewalk? It wasn't random. It wasn't charity. It was payback. For a debt owed across decades. From one lost girl to the daughter of another. But why keep it secret? Why not tell Riley everything up front? Kim's voice broke as she answered. Because I didn't want you to feel like a favor or a project. I wanted to earn your trust, the same way your mom earned mine. And just like that, the whole story shifted, from a mysterious act of kindness to a personal mission tied to the past. But the story wasn't over, because Riley still had one more question. Why now? Kim stood, walked to the window, and stared out at the garden. Because I just found out something, she said. What? She turned, tears in her eyes. Your mom isn't dead. Wait, what? Hold on, Riley said, standing up. You're telling me my mom is still alive? Kim didn't say anything. She just handed Riley a letter. No envelope, just creases, smudges, and what looked like water stains. Maybe tears. Riley unfolded it slowly. It was handwritten, same style as the note that came with the socks. If you're reading this, it means Kim kept her promise. I never wanted to leave you, but I was too broken to stay. I thought you'd be better off without me. M. Why would she think that? Riley whispered. Kim sat down beside her. She was in trouble, Riley. The kind that doesn't make the news. The kind no one talks about. What kind of trouble? Kim hesitated. She got involved with people who used her, controlled her. She tried to escape. That night she left you at the shelter. It wasn't because she didn't care. It was because she was being hunted. Hunted? This wasn't just some tragic teen mom story. This was something darker. Kim continued. She reached out to me a few months ago, from a burner phone. Said she was still hiding, still afraid. But when she saw a photo of you someone posted on social media, sitting on that sidewalk, she paused. She begged me to find you, to fix what she couldn't. Riley's hands were trembling. She's still in hiding? Kim nodded. She doesn't want you to come looking. Not yet. But she's alive, and she loves you. The room fell silent. For a minute, all Riley could hear was her own breath. Then, almost too quiet to hear, she said, I always thought she just didn't want me. Kim looked her in the eye. She never stopped wanting you. She just didn't know how to protect you and survive at the same time. Riley closed her eyes. It didn't fix the years of loneliness, but it explained them. And sometimes that's enough to begin healing. Kim stood and walked to the bookshelf. She pulled out a small photo album, leather-bound, worn at the edges. She handed it to Riley. Inside were photos of Maya and Kim, teens on the run, shelter bunk beds, a stolen moment laughing with ice cream cones in hand. It wasn't fame. It wasn't wealth. It was survival. It was love. It was real. Will I ever see her? Riley asked. Kim took a deep breath. When she's ready, and when it's safe. Then she smiled. In the meantime, you're stuck with me. Riley laughed through her tears. It was the first time she'd felt like laughing in years. A few weeks later, Riley enrolled in school. She started therapy. She got her first pair of real running shoes. Kim insisted. But more than that, she got a second chance. And no one knew. No press, no paparazzi, no story on TMZ, because sometimes the loudest love is the one that doesn't ask for credit. So next time someone tells you people can't change, or that celebrities are all fake, ask them this. Why did Kim Kardashian spend 3 months of her life helping a girl no one else noticed, and never tell a soul about it? Why did she create a new identity for Riley, set up a scholarship in her name, and visit a certain mailbox every week, just in case a letter came? And why does she still keep that old photo of 2 runaway girls sitting on a curb in her wallet? Maybe because some debts can never be paid back, only passed forward. And if this story moved you even a little, if it made you question what you think you know about someone, or reminded you that kindness doesn't always make headlines, then do one small thing. Like this video so more people see it. Comment below. Would you have trusted Kim? And if you want more stories that make you feel something, subscribe to Ero's Stories. Because sometimes the most unbelievable stories are the ones that could have been true. And you've just lived one of them. See you in the next one.